Well, tonight we bring you the latest edition of our Body Cam Heroes, an exclusive Fox News at Night showcase of stories of amazing police officers across the country. Law enforcement expert Cohen is live to show us the heroic rescue by officers of the Surprise, Arizona Police Department of a baby being held hostage. Aaron.
Evening, Trace. Tonight, we're showing you a brave officers from Surprise, Arizona, saving the lives of a mother and her child. It all started after officers received a troubling 911 call. The woman and her child were being held hostage, and while the mother escaped, her baby was still trapped inside. Right off the bat, officers hear gunfire as they make what's called forced entry. Here we see the SWAT team preparing to breach the house. Watch as they execute what's known as a dynamic entry, moving room to room at a controlled but urgent pace. Their communication here, I can tell you, is a tight formation, and you can see how well-oiled this SWAT unit is. As they start navigating through the home, we hear the infant's cries coming from the bathroom. Officer Williams then shouts, "Get the baby." You can hear it's coming up in a second. And Officer Karpulian immediately secures the infant, carrying him to safety while the team provides cover. Thankfully, no shots were fired by the police and the SWAT team. They ended up delivering the baby back to the mother. Back to you, Trace.
Crazy stuff. Cohen, thank you. Let's bring in Surprise, Arizona police officers Travis Carpullo and Carlton Williams. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. So the mom, to you first, Officer Williams, the mom got the infant out, or she got the infant, right? She got out of the house, the infant's still inside, and you heard a gunshot and you decided to go in. What did you expect as you're going in?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. So we did hear gunshots, multiple gunshots come from the house. So when we finally had enough guys that were there to make entry into the house to be successful in doing what we were going to do, I thought that if one of or multiple of us would get hurt going inside the house.
Yeah, it's amazing, Officer Carpullo, because you look at the video here. As you hear the baby crying in the back room, are you afraid, are you nervous that you're being drawn into some sort of trap?
I'm sort of. It was a very high-stress situation at the time, so as we're pushing further in, I knew that I figured at some point we'd be making contact. When I went into the house initially, I did not think that it would be the outcome that we had. I'm very grateful for the outcome we did end up receiving, but yes, as we pushed in further and as we're clearing each room, the percentage drops, right? Because we know we're going to be getting closer and closer, and there's a high chance of meeting this individual.
You talk about at the start, Officer Williams, was there any effort to at least talk to the father of the baby to try to negotiate this whole thing?
Not before we went in the house. I don't think we had that opportunity. We were trying to gather intel and make sure that we actually had innocent people inside the house. So once patrol assets were on scene and they were able to make contact with the mother and confirm that there was in fact a baby inside, and the fact that the gentleman had already shot at officers multiple times, then there was no doubt in anybody's mind that we had to make entry into the house.
Yeah, I mean, I know, Aaron, you have trained a lot of people in this type of thing. We just saw your work in Alabama. Is this something you thought was pulled off efficiently and effectively?
I think that this is as close as it gets to a perfect operation. We'll put this at Israel's level with that rescue of Noah Argami. Trace, here's the thing. With hostage rescue is the most dangerous operation a SWAT team can perform because they don't have time. They've got to get to the end of that structure and get to that kid, and they have no idea what's laying behind that door. So I'm going to assume that the expectations, when they stacked up on that main entry, the moment that door opens, you're expecting shots to get fired at you. Percentage-wise, the highest level of the first, second person going in typically gets hit on these raids. These guys brought it. They're lucky to come out, but you can tell how well-trained these guys are.
And Officer Carpullo, I know you visited the family in the hospital. Were they grateful for your heroism? What did they say to you?
I saw them afterwards, and they seemed to be, again, grateful. It was a high problem for them. It was obviously a very traumatic day, so I think they were just happy to have the outcome that was able to be achieved by the team.
Yeah, and Officer Williams, what did you think when you got the baby out safely alive? What was your first thought?
I was glad that we were able to give the baby a chance to get out. Once we heard the baby make noise and we confirmed that the baby was in there and telling us basically to give it some help, that was a sigh of relief that we were able to find the baby. But then also the fact that no one got hurt out of all the people that made entry, that was also a sigh of relief because there was SWAT assets that were on scene, but we also had some patrol assets. We had K9 officers that showed up on scene. We had detectives that were on scene. We had tactical medics that came on the scene. So it was overall a great collaborative effort between multiple units at the Surprise Police Department.
I've got 20 seconds left, Aaron, but these kinds of situations very seldom end with nobody getting hurt.
Trace, we have an old expression, but I'm going to give you just the English version. We don't rise to the level of our expectations in special operations. We fall to the level of our training. These are body cam heroes. These guys brought it that day. The training was evident. The tactics were evident. Hats off to these guys. That child is alive because of those officers.
Aaron Cohen, Carlton Williams, Officer Travis Carpolo. Gentlemen, great job. Congratulations, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.